Hello everyone, welcome back to IT Learn. This is Karthik. This webinar is gonna be all about automation testing using Selenium WebDriver and Java. And we're gonna build advanced automation frameworks as part of this training. It's gonna be about a 3 to 4 weeks program. Let's see if my control V is the same one now. And it's 6:30 to 7:30 p.m. Pacific time, Monday to Friday. Now, team, there's a lot that we will have to learn as part of this training. Let me put that agenda so we all have the good clarity. In fact, in the entry to IT webinar that I did speak about these concepts. I'm going to take these points and put it up here. Now, team, there is the first and foremost part of automation testing comes with the concept of programming. Okay, manual testing, you do not require to be a developer or a coder, but when it comes to automation testing, you will start writing scripts all the way to automation frameworks. And for doing this, you need to be having your hands absolutely dirtied into coding. And we will focus on not just Selenium as an automation tool, but Java as a core programming language. And most part of the first few days, we will focus on learning core Java, JUnit, and TestNG. We're going to cover all these three. Now, once we know this basic programming languages and how a select query is written and how we talk about databases, so that is very critical. Python, I'll keep it optional, team, time permitting. The reason I said only 2 hours for Python is once you've spent 5 hours into programming and then another 5-10 hours into building automation frameworks using Java, JUnit, or TestNG, then learning the second programming language is fairly easy. 70% of things are common. And what those components are in terms of each of them is what we will compare. The programming language syntax is what we call, and that changes. So Python can then be at least the core basics in terms of concepts. But again, team, for every hour of learning, you must be able to put at least about 15-20 hours of practice. Remember that. It'll take at least 150-200 hours of sitting down and coding to become a good developer. I'm not asking you to become an awesome developer so that you'll get a job as a Java developer. No, you're trying to become an automation engineer or an SDET, software development engineer in test. All right. SDET is a very specific role, team. I'll talk a lot about that. SDET is primarily created for the developers to move down into QA. And so the developers who's been there in the core development are becoming now SDETs and doing the automation testing, the script and automation framework building. So that is the role. But if you're a good developer, you can become an SDET. All right. Now, when it comes to Selenium, we will do a lot of framework talk. This is not day 3, day 4. This is part 1 of the training. Then I have a part 2, in fact. I'm going to copy this. Selenium IDE and element identification. Right. We will spend some time on this, team, maybe about 3 hours to understand how automation gets started. Very, very critical, very core component to the fact on how we go about getting into automation. Once we're done with this, then we will get into the part 3, which is automation frameworks using Selenium WebDriver and Java. Okay, we'll talk about how we go about building all these frameworks. So team, any questions before I get started? I will not start with talking about Java as to how it started and what it does and who built it and what are the benefits of it. How is it different from other programming language? That is not my intent. My intent is to get started, team. And how do you get started with programming? The first and foremost thing that you'll require is called an IDE, an integrated development environment. So any of these terms that seem to be very heavy for you, do not get paranoid right away. Give it a little time. Think about it. Okay, this is the first time I'm getting exposed to it. We'll keep repeating these terms over and over. That's when your concepts gets very nicely solidified, everyone. All okay? Can you all hear me? From the way I'm teaching, team, I will assume that you have zero knowledge in programming. Okay, you have never written a code or seen a line of program ever. That is my assumption. That is my starting point. Now, what is an IDE, team? To write a program, what do we use, team? To write a program, where do we write a program? When we say program, a code that can get executed. It does some basic how do I say, steps or executions on the system, and it'll have the power to make changes to how you whatever you want to do on the internet or on your desktop. So now, to write a program, where do you write it? Do you write it on a piece of paper? Not really. You have to write a program in a notepad, or not even Word, notepad, and save it as .java. This was historically how development was done. Okay. We used to maintain each .java file and individually open it, look at it, and so on. As the technology advanced, developers needed a more helpful and how do I say this, and guided way of programming, of writing the code. And we just started writing the code. We have not even come to executing the code. Now, the best way to look at what an IDE is and what it does and why has it come from a simple notepad all the way to these features, I'm going to start working with Eclipse. Now, Eclipse is a Java IDE. When I say Java IDE, what does it mean? It makes writing and running Java programs very effective and efficient. It's all about efficiency. Okay, so if a developer is taking 10 hours to write a code, with IDE, maybe he or she is able to finish it in 7 hours. So that is improvement in how we do. What is Eclipse? Eclipse is an open source tool that is very popular with the Java dev community. Okay, this is the community of Java developers team will be on the upper side of a few million, I would say, at least 2 to 3 million professionals would be there globally with Java development community, right? And we are trying to understand this community is all trying to work together. We're not going to talk yet about GitHub or Jenkins or Maven and how we do CI/CD, team. Let's cover the basics of automation, but starting with programming. Any questions so far, please? Just quickly looking in the chat. No, you didn't lose audio. I just muted myself. Wanted to take a sip of water. All right, great. So Eclipse, let's talk about Eclipse team. So this whole Java community needed a platform that really helped them do coding faster and better. Eclipse.org is going to be the website that you'll go to. You will be downloading Eclipse from here, and it's a very straightforward installation. I'm going to show you the one installed on my machine, but here is what you all going to do. Please take instructions very clearly, team. I may not be able to write down everything, and hence the video is also existing. You're going to visit eclipse.org, and this is the community where everyone is trying to interact about the product. They have an amazing product. I'm sorry, and this is an open source thing, team. What does an open source product mean? They're not commercializing it, they're not trying to earn money over it, and users are allowed to use it for free. They're not being charged for it. All right. If there's a commercial licensed product, then you have to pay for that usage. We're going to use a lot of open source tools. That way, when you're learning, you do not have to pay for any of these licenses. And that is how this community has been working. You'll hear this keyword open source a lot whenever we talk about Java or even Selenium automation. All right. Now you're going to click on download. Once you click on download, it will tell you that we have a lot of products and so on. You are focusing on the latest Eclipse IDE. This is 201812. That is how they're naming it. And I'm going to download it and keep it for download, maybe for later. But this is what you're going to do, team. You're going to download it. If you have a Windows 64, I think it's going to show you this link. If you have a Windows 32, the other one. If you're in a Mac, you'll see a Mac link, team. Your browser is automatically trying to recognize which operating system are you using, what is your system, and then be able to give you the download link. All right. So depending on your machine, please click on it, download it. Once you've downloaded it, double click and start the installation. It is pretty straightforward. There's no drama into it. What you will require when it will tell you that, okay, eclipse.org downloads, I'm here. Okay. And then you need Java development kit. Okay. It's called JDK. Now there's also a Java runtime environment. The easiest way to know if Java is present or there on your machine or not, already installed, there are three types of Java team that I have to explain to you about. Okay, so the first is just plain simple Java used for running any Java applications. So if you download any application onto your machine and it requires you to and it was built on Java, then you require the basic Java to be installed on a machine. When you are running Java applications using an IDE, you require the Java runtime environment. If you're developing using Java as a platform, you need JDK. And these are all directly freely available from oracle.com. Even this is free source, oracle.com ain't, but Java is now part of Oracle community, and that is where it is being hosted. All right. The way you can know if Java is present, the basic one for running applications on a machine is just go to command prompt. That is on your Windows, type CMD. CMD. System is very pathetically slow. I'm gonna get a brand new one tomorrow. And these new features, right, in Windows, Cortana and so on, so the problem is they force us to use it, and that annoys me a lot. Why should a operating system guy force us to use whatever features they give? It should be very optional, team, and that is where be very focused on using only the right tools. Don't over over confuse yourself by using many tools. Okay, so I hit command prompt CMD on Windows and you will get the command prompt. This is basically your directory structure and how things are shown on your machine. Using this, you can access all the files that are there. You can work on them directly. But then we have Windows Explorer, and all these platforms that make things easy. So how do I know if Java is present? Just type Java, and it should be able to show you that okay, these are all the options that you can run using Java. So this basically tells me that Java is already loaded onto my machine. I don't know if JDK is there or not. But as you're downloading Eclipse, it will definitely notify you that hey, you need to also download JDK to be able to write programs. So it will guide you through it. So make sure you get Eclipse, make sure you get Java. Now once you get it, I'm going to quickly open up my Eclipse. This is what you're going to see. Pretty complex structure, so I don't want you to once again get paranoid about it. I'm going to start from the very basic. Can you hear background music by any chance, team? It's a little unresponsive. I'm going to exit this command prompt. I'm going to also kill my AnyAUT app. I don't know what is slowing this system so much. Give me one quick second. Because for Eclipse and for us to write programs, we need an extremely fast machine team. Just going to quickly look at my task manager and see what processes I can kill. I've never worked on such slow machines in my entire life of 21 years. Chrome is one of the biggest killers. I don't need Chrome for a while. It's taking most of my memory and CPU space. For a while, I don't think I'll require Chrome, so I'm going to exit in the task. See, my memory is released significantly. My Java will keep running in the background because my Eclipse is there. Let me restart my Eclipse. It'll take 2 or 3 minutes, team, but at least we'll have a good perspective. Actually, no, let me use it by switching. The first thing I'm going to do, team, and I will keep talking a lot about it, is I'm going to switch this workspace to a new one. All right. What is a workspace? I'll briefly explain to you in a second. And let me move this into a better folder. So I'm going to say that all my files that I create as part of this project training, I will put it into one folder. Let me go to C drive. Create new folder, and I'm going to call this as Java Feb 2019, right? And this will be my folder where all that we will do will get stored. So what is it? What is a workspace and why do we create it? Let me first clean up the screen, bring up that and show you. All good, everyone? Audio, video, are you getting slowly what we're trying to do? Any questions, issues that you have meanwhile? So now when I switch the workspace, Eclipse is going to restart. What is a workspace, team? Very simple. Think of it as a project folder. Okay. Developers, when they're working, sometimes they have multiple projects at the same time. Okay. So in a project, I will have a lot of Java programs, all associated libraries and so on. And it will look very rich and confusing. And then you have to switch to a different project where all the other files and configurations are existing, different project altogether. That is the reason we create these workspaces, which talks about that, okay, you can switch between these workspaces and you can create whatever you want under them. So workspaces help you to manage your projects easily. So think of it as a subfolder for now, team. That's all we need to look at. Now, as we do this, and if you go into your C drive and to the Java Feb 2019, you'll slowly start seeing files getting created within this folder. So your Eclipse is now going to start interacting with this folder in the backend. Why is this training says level 2? I'm not sure. It is actually level 2 itself, automation testing, because level 3 is SDET. There are 4 levels to it, team. If you go to itlearn.com pricing page, you'll see it. There's a level 0, entry to IT. Then there is level 1, which is QA and software testing tools, manual testing side. Then there's level 2, which is automation testing and programming. Level 3 is the SDET and live projects. And level 4 is a JPAC, Job Placement and Certified Training Program. Okay, just that the question came up, so I thought let me quickly answer. Now let's see what happens and how it looks in Eclipse. This is how your welcome screen will look, team, all of you. Okay, it will show you a lot of links out here. You know, it's got workbench, it's got videos, tutorials. You can start doing things right out here. But here is what you're going to do, team. You are going to close this welcome screen and get out of it. You don't want the welcome screen. Now, here is your first UI of this application called Eclipse, which helps us to write Java programs in a much more efficient way. Okay. One of the most important features or beauty of this IDE, the Integrated Development Environment Eclipse, is the fact that it has simple viewports. It's got something that will let you manage everything as windows. So I could make it look different and I could handle multiple things. The amount of options and the features that have been poured into this application are humongous, team. And it is very, very easy to get lost into Eclipse. I want you to stay on track with me and only learn whatever I teach to begin with. Otherwise, you'll give up programming very quickly. Why? Because when you're practicing, you'll get stuck and you'll try and go deeper and deeper, and you may never be able to write and run successful code. Okay? So please follow my instructions. All I want to see are a package explorer on the left side. There will be something you will see here on the bottom. I don't want anything on the right, so I can close this small widgets out here. I don't even want this task list or outline. I've in fact never even used them, team, so far. This is the code. This is where we will start to work on things. Now, what is the first thing that we will do? Every Java program must belong to a project team. You will start with a project, and within that you'll start creating a Java program. So I'm going to go to File and I'm going to say New and scroll to the right and say Java project. Do you see this, team? There are a lot of things that you could create. We are not interested in any of them right now. So as you look at the menu bar and the various options, you'll see how many features have been poured into this application. Okay, our prime focus is to write amazing code. We are not sitting here to master Eclipse. We're sitting here to master Java programming team. Okay, so you will exactly do what I say, so that things will become very simple for you. Okay, so File, New, and we're going to click on Java project. And let's call this as my project 1. That is the name I'm giving team. So when I'm creating a Java project, to be able to execute them, I need the Java runtime environment. So automatically everything will get chosen. All I'm doing is given a project, my project one as a name, and just gonna say finish. I'm not gonna do anything else. Now observe what happens to the left side on Package Explorer when I've created this. Create module. No, I don't. Now a folder has been created in Eclipse team. You will see a similar folder structure also coming up in your Windows Explorer. So Eclipse is primarily doing one thing. It is giving you a better way to look at Windows Explorer and manage your files and programs. Now what is it that we will do? You're going to click on this drop down to the left of My Project 1, and you'll see that there are two portions to it. The first one is called JRE System Library. That is your Java Runtime Environment System Library. What is it? To run a program, you need a lot of components, team. Java components. These are basically predefined library called jar files. All these jar files help us to run the programs. Okay, so I'll talk a lot more about jar and how we create them, what we do towards a little later stage. But for now, do understand that this is a necessary component for every Java project, every Java program. So this comes inbuilt. All the JDK, Java related jar files are all put into your Java runtime environment. All right, so it's commonly accessed from there. I'm gonna click on this again. Now the second folder is the SRC folder. SRC stands for source folder. It's been a programming structure where we have a project, under that there's a source folder, under that we'll create a Java program. All right, as we go to later classes, I'll show you how we can create more folders and organize these things much better. So in this source folder, I'm gonna create a new class. Now see how I'm doing it is I've selected source, I've clicked on SRC, and I can right click also and do something on it, the same thing that I can see in the menu, or you can just click on it, go to file, new, come down to class. When we say class team, it is a Java class. What are classes? What are objects? We will keep talking at length. That is a very, very fundamental important concept, and you must be able to master that. To get to that, you need to start running a few Java programs too. Okay, let's not look into theory much. Let's look a lot into practicals only. It's all hands-on. So the first step is to create a Java class. Now when I say create a Java class, it already knows that my source folder is here. My package is my project one, or my project name itself is what we gave. Under that came name. So those two fields on top became pre-filled. This third field is where I will give it a name. I'm going to call it as my Java code 1. And I'm going to do one more thing. I'm going to check this option. Do you see this public static void main string args? I'm going to just check this statement and say finish. Now here is my Java program. Oh, it's created it in another subfolder. I didn't want it in another subfolder. Why did it do that? Let me redo it by deleting this, so that let's delete this entire thing. Okay, I'll go back to source. I'm going to right click this time, new Java class. If you right click and do, or even if you go to the file and do, doesn't matter. Where is it taking package? I don't need a package. What? Let me see if it will take it. My Java code 1. And I'll put a main method and finish. It's putting it in default package. Didn't do it. Let me drag it and put it into SRC. See, it is just like your simple Windows Explorer. I'm just dragging this and putting it into the root folder. It's saying Oh, it's again taking it into the package. Forget about it. It's just a subfolder for now. Okay. We can rename it for sure by clicking F2, function F2, function F2. Didn't do. Properties. I don't even see it. That's fine. I'm going to leave it there. 1 second, team. I'm getting it. So, team, here is what that came up when I created my Java code 1. I'm going to delete this my Java code 2. It was just smartly trying to create a duplicate when I was trying to move the code. The first thing I want you all to do, team, is to open the font editors. Okay, you will notice the straight away difference between this and something like a notepad. Okay, I can take the same code, Control A, Control C, and put it into a notepad. Okay, now what is the primary difference that you see between these two? This code and this notepad code. You will see, number one, there are line numbers. Okay, I don't have that on a notepad. Number two, you will see that certain words are appearing in a different color or are being highlighted. And I don't see that here, either bold or various colors. That is the starting point, team, of how why we moved from a simple notepad to write programs to an IDE that helps us to do these things better. Now, let's go back to IDE. And now I want you to right click on these numbers here, and you will be able to then say show line numbers or hide them. So if you don't see line numbers, right click on this side of the program, this gap out here, and say show line numbers. Next, I'm going to go to right click again on that, and I'm going to click on preferences. Now, preferences is something we call to customize it to the way I want things. All right. The only thing I want to do in this right now is make this font bigger so that it is very clearly visible for you on the screen. So I'm clicking on colors and fonts here. How do I know it? Because I've been using it. We get to know where they are. And that's all you need to be doing, team. Just keep doing the same thing. We have to make our code work. Colors and fonts. It's already selected to something. I'm going to click on edit. And I'm going to take this font size from, let's see, what is it right now? 10 all the way to maybe 20. And maybe I want a different font altogether. I like Verda now. Come on, this looks so good. Yeah. This Verda. It's been ported somewhere. There you go. Right. Let's see how it looks. Hopefully, okay. There we go. All right. Now, team, our intent is not right away to understand certain words. Okay. And I'm going to talk about what and how. I'll explain every concept on this. The first is ignore this public, ignore the class, ignore the static, void, main, string, args, all of this, forget it. The only thing that you know right now is whatever name we gave for the program while creating a Java class, I'm putting the same name. The same name has already come here. All right. That is the first most important thing. Your Java program should be named as the main class. Let us say if I try to change this to my code 2. Okay. What just happened, team? Your Eclipse IDE has now given you an indication with a red line. That is how it is giving us feedback that there's something wrong with things. Okay. In a regular notepad, It does not give you the feedback as to, hey, there may be something wrong with the code. Okay, there are two types of errors, team. We will keep talking about these errors: syntax error and runtime error. Okay, what is the difference between them? Syntax error is the code itself is not correctly written. It can't even be executed. Forget about running it. Okay, there is a syntax error. So we have to fix all syntax errors before we can run it. What is the runtime error? Code looks okay, but when executing, there is some issue that has happened with the program. It did not do what it was supposed to do, and it failed, maybe through an exception or an error saying I can't do anything more. That becomes your runtime error. Now, for us to be able to understand what these issues are and how to fix them, Eclipse gives you a brilliant option, team. You just have to take your mouse over those red line area. If you notice, this red cross did not come earlier. This is small bulb in the red cross. Well, not a red cross, white cross in a red box. That is saying that on line number 2 there is an issue, and it will not let you execute it. But what is the issue? Let us say I'm a novice developer, very amateur into it. You have to just take your mouse and patiently look at what it's saying. It's basically saying that the file has to be same as the program name here. So it's giving you two options: either change the file, rename file to myjavacode2.java, or rename this type to myjavacode1. All right, so these are the two options. Let us undo it, and I'm gonna go back to 1. Now suddenly that went away. See if I wrote the right code. That is called syntax. Java is an extremely strict programming language. You cannot be relaxed about it. It requires you to be very, very focused. Even uppercase, lowercase, it is very case sensitive. Okay, so keep that in mind. Now let's talk about how do we execute a Java program. You see line number 5, I'm going to delete it, team. I'm going to ignore it. This is how your basic code will look. Okay, I'm going to take out this empty lines too. I don't require too many. Now, every Java code belongs into a block. All right. If there is a starting curl bracket, there will be an ending curl bracket to it. So this, when I highlighted this curl bracket, you see automatically a box coming up saying that, hey, this is the end for this highlighted start braces. Similarly, let us say I want to see where is the starting of number 5. So here is the ending of this block, and then this is the starting. Now, so there are two things. One is your class, and there is something called as a main method within that. Within this, on line 3, I'm going to write the first statement, and that's a print statement. System.out.println. Now, do you see what is happening as I keep writing? Eclipse has this beautiful feature where it already knows all the different Java commands. And it says that, hey, I can advise you and tell you exactly what you may want. Look at the number of options for print, system.out.print. It is telling you you can do multiple things with print. I'm going to print line, a new line. So println is what I'm doing. Open brackets, close brackets, semicolon. Here is one of the most simplest Java statements, team. All that this is doing, whatever I give in the brackets, it is going to print that and show you. Not on an actual printer paper, but it will come up on the console. So here I'm going to write hello team Java. Now this is a message, team. Programming is all about communication. It is about passing data from one to the other in a nice and structured way, so that your debit cards, your credit cards will work. So that when you start your engine in your car, you'll know that yes, there's so many computers within it that are making it happen. So that your smartphones will work. That is what Java does. It makes programming at a very small level happen. Now I have returned this code. Now the code has been returned. Why system, why dot out, why println, how are we giving brackets? You will slowly realize. All this will do is will print something on a console. I'll show you what it does. Once you return your code, you're going to save it, team. All right. Only after you save it, then comes the next step of execution. You see this green circle with a white triangle in it, the plate triangle? That is your execute my code option, also called as run the program. So I'm just going to click on this. It is now preparing to run and it has already completed it. So this console came up right now saying that, okay, this is what the instruction was. Whatever I gave here is now getting displayed. Wow, so I can change it. Can I do something more than to it? Control C, Control V. Let's say this is Karthik. IT learn. And now I've created two statements in Java team. Earlier, there was only one. And now I'm again going to save this program and execute it. And this is where we will start to develop and build programs. All about writing a program, saving it, running it. Writing, saving, running. Writing, saving, running. This is the first program, team. We're going to continue tomorrow. I'm going to start talking about what are variables, how do we start declaring, starting to work with them. And if possible, I'll show you how to build a nice, simple Java application. Okay. I have a plan for a good Java app, maybe as part of your training or a project following it. I would love you to do it. Any questions, team? I'm done for today's session. I know it's a short, over 45 minutes maybe. But it's a good start for us where we are able to write and run our first Java program. And from tomorrow, we'll go deeper, one day at a time. But whatever we are doing, try and stay with us with the same flow, cover up, and make sure you practice accordingly. If there are no questions, I'll see you tomorrow, everyone. If there are questions while you practice, you can bring it back to the class tomorrow, and I can start with troubleshooting them first before I continue with the session itself. These notes are going to post somewhere. Yes, so whatever programs we create, whatever documents that I write and we build, or even be it sample, profiles, and so many other things, you'll all be having access to it through your IT Learn membership code. They'll all be uploaded there. All right, thank you everyone. Take care. I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye now. Bye all of you.